Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. One battle after another. 2025. Paul Thomas Anderson. This film follows the French 75, a band of freedom fighters and domestic terrorists. In particular, it follows one, Bob Ferguson, who is shacked up with one Perfidia Beverly Hills. When Perfidia and Bob have a daughter named Willa, Perfidia cannot handle the mundanity of home life and decides to continue her battle with the French 75. However, after a botched bank robbery, Perfidia is arrested and she turns state's witness against the 75. With the 75 dead or in hiding, Bob remains the latter with Willa, living a normal if isolated life. Willa, though, is whisked away by a remaining member of the 75 when an old foe, Colonel Steve Lockjaw, begins hunting them down. Bob, unsure of his daughter's whereabouts and now a fugitive, must find Willa before Lockjaw can get his hands on her. The buzz surrounding PTA's new movie was undeniable. While it was given that I was going to see it, the hype for this movie meant I had to see it soon and see if PTA had really done something here. Well, good news. PTA did something here. This was an absolute banger of a film. PTA is in full form with this movie. Shooting on 35mm film, one battle after another has that warm and classic feeling that is evoked in his filmography. Is beautifully lit with outdoor scenes drenched in natural sunlight or city streetlights, and indoor scenes playing with window lighting or lamps. The blocking and editing of each sequence is so tight and so flowing. PTA can transition from handheld shots which evoke a chaotic feeling or clean Steadicam work, and will all blend together seamlessly. One of the things that was honestly so impressive about the film were the car chase sequences. The first major car chase in this film was after the bank robbery. The stunt driving in this sequence was off the chain in terms of coordination, and the cameraman racing after these cars honestly looked so impressive. But it was the last car chase in this film that sealed the deal for me. The way the camera was going up and down this winding road as if the camera was riding on the ground under the car was visually stunning. Giving a master like PTA over $100 million really paid off here. PTA just enveloped you in this world. Shooting in the deserts of California and Texas, the arid roads and cramped city streets and buildings reflected the themes the film was tackling. On top of that, the special effects and makeup in this film was top-notch when it was used. While sparing, the violence in the film was presented in such a blunt and powerful way. Sean Penn getting his face blown off by a shotgun was unexpected, and the makeup job they did for his mangled face was incredible. Returning to collaborate with PTA is the great Johnny Greenwood of Radiohead. Greenwood's work over the past number of years has been absolutely incredible, and this score is amongst his best in my opinion. A jazzy affair, it evokes those funky and angular scores from the 60s and 70s thrillers, but Greenwood's composition also evokes his work with Radiohead in ways. This can be seen in the more ethereal cuts in the score that focus on big synth passages. On top of that, this soundtrack is fucking banging, and it was full of songs that were perfect for the scenes they were used in, but also were just bops of the highest order. The Shirelles song Soldier Boy was such a fun inclusion for that montage of Bob and Beverly Hills being revolutionaries and in love. The church hymns used throughout were perfect entrance music for characters like Lockjaw in the Christmas Adventurers Club. It's a funny ass name, to be sure. Like, oh my god. Ending the film on Tom Petty's American Girl, while that song has been used a bunch in recent filmmaking, it's still a banger song and captured the spirit of the film brilliantly. But man, this absolute belter of a script by PTA though. While it may not be on the levels of artistry that scripts like There Will Be Blood is, PTA still managed to capture the feeling and the vibe of our current political climate. Whether or not you agree with the politics that PTA is spewing out with this movie is a discussion for another time though. But what makes this film work is just how tight the story is, how dynamic the characters are, and how clever it is with wrapping all these plot threads up. I want to keep this review short, but the film is essentially about a daughter and father coming to terms with what their mother did in the past. And the way it ends is just so beautiful, but that's honestly as far as I'll go. I want you to see this movie for yourself and experience this ride. Oh my god. In our lead role, Leo was just absolutely crushing it. He brought such a great energy and infectious charisma to this role. Chase Infinity played Willa, and for what screen time she got in the film, she owned this role and showed some powerful emotions near the end. I think the show stealer, though, was Sean Penn as Colonel Lockjaw. The man just embodied this weirdo character so brilliantly. The way he walked was off-putting, the way he talked was rigid, and he chewed the fuck out of all the scenery in this film. Oh god, so many great actors in this film, but little time to go over it. Tiana Taylor, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, all crushing it. One battle after another, when all is said and done, might be PTA's best of the 2020s. Hell, it might be amongst his best films full stop. A masterfully made thriller with a beautiful blending of tones, top-tier performances, and phenomenal music that stands as a great reminder of just how special PTA truly is as a director. I would not be surprised if this film gets PTA's first Oscar, and it would be well fucking deserved. Watch this movie. You know what it is. 10 out of 10. Catch you later, guys.